so funny how back then I couldn't lift my normal weights. I felt so weak,
Yeah,
and you're going through the whole abuse and
yeah,
you don't think it's affecting you that much.
yeah.
And now I'm back to lifting 225. I'm trying to, go up to 280. I'm going back to how I was. And it really is just mentally, it really is just all mental.
Yeah, it is.
It's
That's the
crazy.
thing. The blockage was there though. See, he was there. He was the
Mm-hmm.
blockage. And sometimes, we don't want to admit that that person in front of us that we're
Yeah.
trying to condition ourselves to love,
Yeah.
and accept their faults, which is the abuse.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
we totally went from leaving the cap off the toothpaste to it's okay for him to yell at me. He's just going through something. And no, the
Yep.
two are not the same.
Yep.
One is bad. The toothpaste thing is we can
It's
endure that.
like, dang, where's the line at? Like,
Yeah, right, right. We have to create one. We have
exactly.
to, yeah. And if because they see no line, they see that we haven't put one up. They see that
Yeah.
we have not put up a line. So they say, well, fine, there's no line. I can do not wash the dishes or take the trash out and do whatever I
Mm-hmm.
want and sit around and watch TV. And she's just going to keep taking it. She's just going
Mm-hmm.
to keep taking. No, trust me, I'm telling you from a guy's perspective too.
That goes
They,
back to just having really firm boundaries. And like right
mhm,
now, for example, right
yeah,
now he's calling me toxic and a narcissist because of my boundaries. I'm not talking to him. I'm doing a no contact.
right,
you're dead
right,
to me.
right.
And apparently that's toxic to him. So I'm just like, I
Yeah.
guess if you take it
Well,
that way.
that's when like I had one of my guests put it this way. They were about putting the boundaries, and she was same thing. She was when a pre-show. We were talking in a pre-show, and she said, and he's like telling my friends this and that, and and this and that and about me, and I'm the one that's the innocent one, and I'm the one that's had to put up with it. And she go, and then she said, wait a minute. She caught herself saying it out loud, and she says, wait a minute. If I am toxic, she said, let me just go with that. If I am toxic, then I'm doing him a favor.
Yeah,
Why isn't he then applauding that, hey man, I've got that person out of my life because they
exactly.
were just, but instead he's chasing me. Well, how pathetic and toxic is that you're
Yeah,
chasing toxic? So that proves that,
that's
hey,
true. I didn't think
it's
about
not
that.
true. Yeah, she said that. I was like, good for you. But she just had to work it out loud. Nobody told, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, most of the time, that's what happens. If we
Yeah.
work things out loud and think about it and just talk it out loud, sometimes we don't really need another person or
And that's what's funny. I told my therapist this like Monday. I was like, don't think I'm crazy, but I talk to myself because that's who knows you better than yourself and
yeah,
who's going
yeah,
to be more honest with yourself.
yeah,
You are. So when I
right.
talk to myself sometimes, man, the things that you come up with and the things that you realize,
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah,
dang.
yeah. And wait, and they've been there the whole time. That's what's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the exercising, or in other words, as I tell people, when they start lifting weights or do resistance training, whether it's a band or weights or anything like that, or their own body weight, what they start to find out is that uh, they had this the whole time. They just needed to be the one providing resistance. They were having the abuser provide the resistance
Mm-hmm.
against them. But when you take that person out and you, I like one of your postings you did. You took a picture of the barbell with the weights on the floor, and I would like that should be like a picture you take and blow it up and put it on a wall in your house or like in your bathroom
Well,
or something. When you go to wake when you get up in the morning, you should have a big picture of a barbell and
it's
some
like, I
weights.
did that.
That's right. It's like I lifted that, so nobody can ever put me down again and tell me
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. Because if I'm good enough to move around 220 some odd pounds of dead weight, that's probably more or close to whatever he weighed. So you're
That's
going
more.
like, okay, no, okay, so I rest my.
Man,
I'm
you're
just,
right.
I'm just saying that. No, hey, I would tell my clients that all the time. I go like, look, let me tell you something. You start lifting weights, you start doing jump rope and stuff like. You start moving your body. You
Yeah,
watch and see how quick all that toxic stuff that they tried to put in you or make you believe disappears without you ever
exactly.
opening up a self-help book. And then now you're ready to tell your story. And you tell your story totally different. You're telling your story when we did the pre-show, and I could see it in you, that sense of gaining your life back
Yeah.
by moving dead weight, because that's what you were carrying, dead weight. No, no, no. Think about it for a second.
No, my mother told me the same thing.
Well, hey,
That's why I'm
well,
laughing.
your mom is probably only 27, but I'm
Yeah.
old. I'm old, but that really is the equation. The equation to dealing with narcissistic abuse is all about algebra and geometry. It's all about the angles and the weight distribution. When you take dead weight and move it out of your life and put in resistance weight that helps you become lean, you're becoming lean emotionally as well.
And
When
not
you be
even just emotionally, but how I was saying spiritually too. Like
Yeah.
I felt so lost and so alone, and I was very spiritual even before I met him. So I just felt like, and I know this is so mean to say, I guess, but I felt like it was just like a leech, just stuck to like my soul.
Mhm.
And it's just like, dang, you're taking all this energy out of me, and I don't know how to stop it.
Right.
So
And
it's
that
just
energy that
spiritually,
the energy they were taking was really the energy you had stored. Some people think that it's the energy that they're getting in the moment of life, but they're not. The energy of living the moment is being in for most people, the energy they're living in the moment, this energy we're having as we're talking right now, is energy that's being packed on top of the good energy you already had. Well, they were sucking off the energy you had stored, and so you're going like every day you live, you're not being able to put that on
to
the new
ex-
energy on top of it. So they're sucking all your
exactly.
stored battery energy. You know, it's like taking your tablet or your phone and giving it to somebody, and they use it up until you had 98% or 94, and you gave it to them. They say, "Hey, let me make a phone call or two. Let me." Before you know it, they give it back to you, and you're like it's 7%, and it's like, of course, way beyond the point. Is telling you need to plug in,
Yeah,
and now you're trying to plug in, and now all of a sudden you need to call somebody, and you don't even have enough battery juice to make that phone call. And that's what they're doing. They're sucking a person dry. And then when they're done,
that's it.
they're going like, well, let me go find somebody else. And then you're going like,
Exactly.
you left me with a dead battery. What is your problem? They go like, hey, that's you. You're toxic. I don't know. You should have plugged it in. You could have
Man.
told you could have told me you needed your phone back. I don't know what the problem. And it's like the accountability is not there on their part to apologize and say, hey, look, you know what? I was being irresponsible and selfish. I should have gave you the phone back or asked you for the cord so I
Yeah.
could. Do you see what I'm going? I mean,
I understand.
we could
No,
belabor
yeah.
the example, but
But
it's amazing.
and you said something about accountability, and that's what sometimes kind of trips me out because he would apologize and he would take accountability, but the behavior would never change. So it
Yes,
was
sir.
just like you're literally just stringing breadcrumbing me along because you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, well he's not that bad. At least he apologizes. But then literally 3 hours later, he's screaming at me again and breaking things, and it's just like you're so mentally messed up already that you're just like, oh, okay, like it's never gonna change. I just kind of have to accept how he is, and until
Yes.
you kind of snap out of it and you're like, oh, okay, I need to leave.
Well, that's what he wants. He wants you to accept that. People in this situation like you were in, they want you. The abuser wants you to accept it, but they know they need to keep you on a roller coaster of
Mm-hmm.
expecting an apology, but not. They want you to be conditioned that you should not expect change. Expect the apology, but
Yeah,
don't expect change.
it's like the whole like brain fog that I was reading
Yeah.
about in this book. It's just they keep you so confused and
Right.
so it's on. And it's crazy because it's all science, It's an addiction of the highs and the lows and the highs and the lows, and you're at this point where you're so low, and and I'm just speaking from experience, suicidal and everything, and he
Mhm.
finally shows you some type of affection, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, yay,
Yeah.
and then it goes back down, and it's just like, okay, oh
It,
God.
it's challenging. It's challenging to more people today are finding that it's challenging to deal with the reality that they've been lied to,
Yeah,
that they have been lied to for the purpose of putting up a facade so that someone could suck their energy and then move on. So people are finding it hard emotionally, understandably though, emotionally, it's challenging to accept that what they promised was a lie. What they initially said was a
yeah,
lie. What they
everything.
did, what they did on the vacation trip or on that drive or out to dinner was a lie. What they did when they hugged that person, it was a lie. What they did when they kissed them on the lips, it was a lie.
That's what
When
I
they looked at them
told.
in the eye and told them, hey, look, you and I forever. When they
Yeah,
wrote it on a card, when they bought flowers, when they bought the ring, it was all a lie. Male or female, it's just that, of
and
course,
it's
most of this
so
stuff happens to women. It's
yeah,
crazy. And as a father of daughters, I'm like, I got to start this channel. It's like I gotta have 3 public service. I gotta talk to as many people. You people, women, wake up. You know, men, wake up. You know, this stuff. This
Yes.
is like bad news bear stuff. This is like
And
this
you
is
know what's so
it's
crazy
filthy.
that
It's filthy crazy.
after this whole thing has happened, I'm on social media, you know, like trying to grow
Mhm.
my following, but I'm looking at other pages and just the toxicness of relationships that's being normalized nowadays, and it's just like
Yeah,
that's not normal. And
yeah,
then I was telling my friend this, it just kind of goes back to, it really does go back to your parents and how they raised you into thinking what is acceptable to be loved. Like I was you know, I was, because I'm trying not to be anymore, a big people pleaser.
yeah,
And with
yeah.
him, I, you know, yeah, sure, babe, everything was cleaned, everything cooked,
Oh
everything,
yeah,
you
oh yeah,
know, I
yeah.
worked, I paid half of everything, I took care of everything. I was losing my mind, you know, but I just was so afraid to disappoint him, and then really scared, to be honest, you know. So it really goes down to the root of how you grew up and how
Right.
you know, it's just, I don't know, everything's so connected. It's so crazy.
You find that we can end up becoming the people that raised us, or we can become the person that we can be.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's okay to pick up things from people who raised us, but it's amazing how much uh, you and who raised you probably didn't lift 225 pounds. I mean, that's how we started this conversation. Your
Yeah.
page caught my attention because I'm looking at a woman put in the work. You know, we can see a man put in the work and it's one thing, but we're looking at you put in the work. Your family members, I mean, you may be able to name one or none that lift 225 pounds. How many of them in your family is pumping weight? Like, okay, so no, do you understand what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
and a lot of times women don't want to go down that road, you know, but when we choose to put in resistance training by reading a book, by dealing with emotions that we're trying to drown out with alcohol or
Mm-hmm.
pornography or other things. And we actually do the resistance training of physically lifting something, 10 pounds, 8 pounds, and getting in some cardio and working out. We do some resistance training and move our bodies and move our hearts. It's amazing how a toxic person has no room anymore. They want to run. No one in your family is doing the resistance training that you're doing. You're doing 2 parts. You're doing the resistance training for inside. You just said you read a book. You know, you and I talked a little bit. There's tons of, you're talking to
Oh
other
yeah.
people. You're looking at things to make you grow from inside. But
Mm-hmm.
you're posting pictures on your page in which you are showing physical growth. You're becoming lean inside and out. That is dangerous for a toxic person, man or woman, to come into a stable person's life, because now you're becoming stable. Instead of cleaning for him,
Exactly.
you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing it for you now. And a
Yeah.
toxic person don't like that.
And
They have
I've met a couple so far that you know, red flags are like whoop, and
yeah.
it's so
Now you
crazy
can see
now how
them.
I see them. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
now you see
nah,
it.
like
Yeah,
go
yeah.
away.
Now I'm good. I'm good. I'm good over here in this little corner all by myself. Shoot. They know when toxic dogs or cats are come their way. They just, you know, they hiss at them and let them know, hey, you can't get in here. And that's what you're doing. That's why he calls you toxic. It's like you're hissing. It's like it's like you looking at him and going like, you ain't getting back in here. You're not getting back
Yeah.
in here.
No.
You done. You done. You go do whatever you want to do. You just can't do it here. And that's
Pretty
the more
much.
you do resistance training and exercising the way you're doing it, that works for you. And you post that, that's what he's looking at. A man is looking at an abusive man. He's looking that you're not just being emotionally strong, you're becoming even stronger physically. You're wearing your confidence every day outside of yourself. You don't have to say a word. It shows in your taking care of your body. And narcissistic people hate that. And so you're becoming
They
this beautiful
do.
person inside and out, and he doesn't know what to do with that. What we got there on the screen. Thank you very much, everybody, for being kind and listening to us. We're just hanging out today. I know some of you who are here regularly follow my public service pages, but I wanted to just hang out with Liz today. What do we got there? Taz says a person calls you toxic when they no longer can control you, and it messes with their ego. Uh, Taz, I can't see it. Maybe Liz, can you tell? Is that a male or female? Because I don't want to say
It's
something
a
wrong.
guy.
Okay, my ex was narcissistic. I had to get out of that. At what point did you start recognizing you had to get out of it?
It was really early. I think it was before we got married. There was one incident where it was the first time meeting his friends, and he gave me like the cold shoulder. And it was so annoying because I didn't know anybody in that little group, you know. So he gave me the cold shoulder in the little get together because for some reason he thought I was defending my son's dad. For some reason, I don't know where he got that logically. I don't know. So he
Right.
stopped talking to me for like 15, 20 minutes at little get together. And I was like, okay, thanks a lot. You know, I don't know anybody here. And I'm not from, I'm just gonna say the name, Angleton. I'm not from Angleton. So I really didn't have like no friends or family down here. So it was just really lonely. So after maybe like 20 minutes, he came back from the bathroom and, you know, the whole love bombing again. Hey, babe, I'm so sorry that I blew up and I love you, yada, yada, yada. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I felt like just because he's, again, you know, just because he's being nice, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. We're back, you know, we're back on the same page again.
Mhm.
And this was the first incident that I knew before I married him. I don't even know why the heck I married him after this. But on our way back home, like from Angleton to the city that we lived in, it was like maybe 15 minutes that whole time. And even him stopping like in the middle of like the road to yell at me more.
Wow.
He just yelled at me. He called me like, and I don't know if it's profanity, but like retard. He was like, if you're gonna act like an effing retard, I'm gonna treat you like one. And I didn't know what the heck I did wrong. Like I was just like I was crying. I've never been called names like that before. So, you know, stupid, you know, effing B word. So it was like 15 minutes of just straight him yelling at me and pointing at me. And I was just sitting in the passenger seat with my head down crying because I just felt so ashamed for some reason. I didn't know what I did, but I just felt so ashamed. And he was drunk. And I chalked it up to that. Like, oh, he's just drunk, you know, whatever. And that day, surprisingly, we were already living together. Everything moved really fast. Like the whole love bombing, him moving me in, everything moved really fast in a couple of weeks. So I was already living there, and he kicked me out. He said he didn't want to be with me, that I deserve better, which I do. And this is a little quote that I've been reading. It says, if someone tells you who they are or shows you who they are, listen to them. And I'm just like, man, I should have listened. Like, I'm so dumb. You're literally telling me like I deserve better and I should have listened. And he woke up after his whole little drunken nap. And I told him, okay, well, can you help me move back to my apartment? Because I literally have all my stuff here. Like, I need to go back if you're kicking me out. And he pretended like nothing happened. I didn't
Wow.
break up with you. What are you talking about? Why would I do that? And you know, it messes with my head because I'm like, you literally just told me like you didn't want to be with me anymore. And you know, gave me kisses and hugs and no, baby, I would never say that. Don't ever, ever think that. I might say things like that, but don't ever take me seriously. It's like, okay, whatever. It was just, that was one incident before we got married that I was like, man, I don't know about him. And
When 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 that happened, how long did it take before you got married from when that happened? Was that incident,
maybe,
was that 6 months before you got married? Was that three
oh
months?
no, I'm telling you, everything moved so fast. That happened in maybe like a week or two. We got married. And he kept pushing marriage. Like, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't see the red flags back then.
What that's
But
you know what you'll go in the gym, you'll go and wait. Let's use the bike. You go get the mountain bike. You never saw that you were going to lose part of a toenail,
yeah.
but it happened.
Yeah.
And you're still up and about, you're still functioning. You just got that toe that's letting you know, okay, you know,
Remember this time?
okay, and you know how it happened. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what happened. Sometimes people talk about what happened and they don't want to talk about how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you're talking right now, and you're talking about what happened when he, pulled over the side of the road, when you went to the thing. Now you're really dissecting what happened, how you got in,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, not what happened, but how it happened. When you start to dissect how it happened, it will never, ever, ever happen again. But
Because
most people get on Instagram or Facebook Live and they talk about, what happened, not how it happened. When an insurance adjuster wants to know how it happened. He can see what happened.
yeah,
Most people can look at another person's Instagram or Facebook and they can see, okay, this is what happened to that person. Oh, I feel so connected to her. I have a
yeah,
story just like that. And I want to talk about the story too. And there's this one big group of NARC bashing. But when people, Red Flag Podcast, come on this show, we like to, let's just do a mini dissect of how it happened. So how did you meet him? When did you meet him? What were you going through at the time that was missing in your life when you met him? Because the narc just fills in whatever gap he sees.
exactly.
So something about you, if it was me, something about me made that narc see a hole in me and go like, cha-ching, I can get this person to pay my rent. I can get this person to clean my chones. I can get that person to go buy groceries while I sit on the couch. I'll even sit here and make her bring the groceries in all by herself and don't help her. I'll make her put them all away and then tell her I'm hungry and she'll feed me too. I got a
Yep,
caregiver. I mean,
yep.
so they're looking for a caregiver. They're looking for a person who will pay their rent on time. And,
Yeah.
all these things. So it's so much that comes into play when it comes to dealing with narcissistic abuse. But what you're doing is the right thing. You're tackling this from a resistance standpoint. I'm going to add physical resistance to my living. I'm going to be moving and I'm going to do some resistance inside. I'm going to talk to as many people as possible about what happened, but what you just did is about how it happened. So now I have to ask you, because we do the pre-show prep, just in case a lot of people are not going to know this. You do a pre-show prep for any of my platforms. I don't want to know the whole story. You know that. I told you that.
Yeah.
You start telling me and I'll cut you off. Time out. You can't tell me.
Yeah.
You can only tell me in the show. La, la, la. I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. Because you'll mess up the whole show in my head. Because if
Yeah.
I know the answer and what your life was like, I'm done for. I'll go to sleep during the show. So I'm wide awake. I am wide awake because I want to know, how did you meet him? That's the second question. The first question is, when did all of this get started? And you met him. When? What year?
This year.
What? Okay,
I'm
yeah.
telling you, everything moves so
What month?
fast.
What month?
I met him January, February,
Okay.
married by April.
No way. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm about to catch myself. I know wow.
I know. It's embarrassing.
No, don't go down that road. See, because that's the way you felt when you messed up your toe on the bike.
Yeah.
It's natural to feel that it's embarrassing, but let's look at it on the flip side. At least you went and got a mountain bike and started riding, and all the other people were being couch potatoes. So at least you lived your life. It
Yeah.
just happened to be, when you go shopping, as I tell my daughters, women window shop, men don't. We don't window shop. We know what we want. We walk in, we don't even know what's in there. We just say, okay, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna go to the auto parts store and I'm gonna go get this. And we walk in, get what we want, we walk out. That's what he did with you. He saw what he wanted. That was normal. But he had a devious heart.
Yeah.
He had a dirty mind and a devious heart. He was out to take instead of give. But you, on the other hand, you were window shopping and decided, okay, oh, I like those shoes. Those shoes will look good on me. I'm going to get those shoes. And you got those shoes. And then you found out, okay, the heel's not working for
It
me.
hurt.
Color's not really working. Now that I look at it, it's not really working for me. And
Yeah.
they're tight on my toe. I said, I can't. The rest of my body has to be weird just to wear the shoe. And you go like, that doesn't work for me. And that's what you just went through emotionally. Emotionally. You just said, this is not working for me. And I don't mind working it out.
Yeah.
I don't mind. But he was like, ain't nothing to work out. You the problem.
Exactly. Or he would, agree to, and this is how he would rope me back every time, therapy. I'll go to therapy, sweetheart. Like we could do
Really?
marriage counseling
Wow.
but I would come back like, okay, cool, we can do that. And then he would tell me, okay, but you have to pay for it. Like I'm already paying all of these things. Like, what are you talking about? So I was just like, I'm not spending, $600, $700 on therapy if you're not even going to show me some type of effort, and then like, since I was already paying half of everything, and then my bills, and then my son's tuition, and my son's everything too, I was just wondering, like, where's your money going? You know, like, I don't understand why you can't pay it, but he was always broke for some reason. I don't know. I'm not trying to be petty. I'm not trying to do anything, but for some reason, he never had money. So I always had to,
Well, you know, you have come to experience what a lot of people before you have experienced, and sad to say, some are going through right now, and some will, sad to say again, go through it later. But when you met him in well, the beginning of the year, and then you got married by April, when did it start to become something that you knew wasn't working for you? He wasn't putting in the effort.
This is a trigger warning, I guess, because it got really bad that day. That day, I felt like he mentally broke me that day. We were in the garage, and I already knew better, and that's I hate saying that, but it was true. Back in the day, I knew better than to go in the garage while he was there, because if somehow he would mess something up, it was my fault. I will be sitting, in the corner, and if he, clipped his, toenail or something, it was my fault because I didn't move that thing. I don't know. So I knew better than to go in the garage while he was in there, and he called me in there. So I was like, okay, let's try it out. So he was doing something with his car, and he was telling me a story about his ex-girlfriend, and she's on here, and hi, I like her. She's so nice. And
Hey, which one is she?
I think she's on here, Lindsay.
Okay.
I already asked her permission if we could, tell his story.
Okay.
So
Right.
Apparently he lied to me, obviously he lied to me about the story because she ended up telling me the truth and later on. But what he was telling me is that she basically bought land that he wanted as a manipulation tool to keep him around because she wanted to marry him, whatever. And I didn't know any better, so I was like, oh my god, that's so mean, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm on his side.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so
Yes.
I made a joke about it because I like making jokes. I was like, dang babe, I can't afford to buy you land like straight cash.
High five.
And
Good joke. Good joke. That's a good joke.
and
That is funny though.
he was like, why do you always have to compare yourself to her? And I'm like, it was like a joke, dude, like chill out. I'm just
Chill
saying,
out.
I don't have 60 grand laying around, to just throw it on land. And yeah, he got mad at me for that. And why are you always comparing yourself? Like, I can't even talk about her without you losing your mind. I'm just like, okay, dude, this is why I don't come outside with you. Like, this is exactly why, because somehow I get like, ugh. So he had gasoline in his hands, and he was trying to put gasoline in the car. And I don't know. I don't know what happened. Honestly, I don't know what happened next. That he just his like anger like just skyrocketed, and he just threw the gasoline on the floor, and it just, and I got scared because I was already, I don't know how many months in that I already knew his anger, his tantrums, and I already knew it could get really bad. And I watch a lot of crime documentaries and stuff, and how people just burn each other whenever they're freaking losing their mind. So I was like, I'm not about to get in danger because you're losing your mind over something that never even happened. Like, it was a joke. So I kind of backed away slowly, and he just, you stupid B word. Da, 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 da. The garage is open. All the neighbors, it was so embarrassing. All the neighbors are outside, and I was just like, you're like, okay. And now, again, at this point, I'm already used to it. So I was like, I'm going to go hide in my closet. That was the safe place for me. We had a big closet. And whenever he would have like his tantrums, I would go in there and cry and just meditate me back to like peace, and like, okay, like, don't let him get to you. It never really worked because you can't, as I was telling this girl yesterday, like, you can't heal yourself when you're still in this really toxic place. You can try, but it's not going to work. So I was already heading to the closet, which is really sad to say. But I was kind of speed walking because I was scared, because I closed the door and I just heard him, just going off, in there by himself in the garage. So I'm speed walking, and the way his house was set up is there was a door in the laundry room, and then the door to the master bedroom, and then the bathroom, the tub and everything, but there's a separate toilet area, like the bathroom toilet area.
Okay.
So I closed the first door and I locked it because I was scared. And then I went to our master bedroom and I locked that door. No, I didn't lock the laundry rooms. I'm sorry. I locked the master bedroom door and I locked the bathroom door, like the bathroom door. And I hid myself in the toilet area because the closet didn't have a lock. So I was like, okay, I was really scared. I already, oh, I'm sorry. I already knew how he could get. So all I heard was him stomping, like running, and he, made it to the bedroom door and it was locked. And all I heard was him ripping the door off.
Whoa.
And he like threw it. Yeah.
Really? That's crazy.
And I was in the toilet area just freaking out because you don't expect that. The last time I had someone like that around me was my brother, and I disowned him a very long time ago. He was really abusive towards me. So I'm in the toilet area and I'm freaking out, and I accidentally break, like where you put the toilet paper.
Yes.
I'm like kind of sitting on, like I'm sitting over here, but I have my hand on that thing, and I broke it, and I was freaking out because I was like, oh, shoot, he's gonna freaking like, he's already mad, he's gonna like lose his mind if he sees that I broke this. Like now looking back, I'm like, girl, what the heck?
The last thing. That's the last thing you should have been thinking about.
Yeah. So thank God my son was not there that day, and
yeah, good.
He made it to the bathroom door and ripped that door off. So I'm just hearing this, right? And I'm freaking out because I can hear him like throwing the doors out. And he gets to the bathroom door, like the toilet area door, and he's like, you got to the count of 3 to get the hell out. And I was like, shit. So I was already scared, and I was just thinking like, oh, I don't, if he rips this door open, I'm going to get hurt because the toilet area was so little. So I was like, he can't do, he won't do this. But then I'm like, yes, he will, because he just ripped 2 other doors. So I was like, come on, just get out and like accept your fate. Like, I don't know what you did wrong, but just accept it. So I left, I opened the door and I was like, yeah, I'm so dumb. I was like, yeah. And he was like, what the hell are you, he's just going off. I don't even remember half the things he told me, but I could just imagine. And I was walking to our bedroom, and he's straight behind me, just barking at like profanities and every name in the book. He's the only man that I've ever been with that has called me out of my name. I don't accept that. I don't know why I did with him. I don't know, but every name in the book. And I was standing because I feel like I kind of disassociated myself because I was not there. And I remember standing in our bedroom, and he was like this close to my face, calling me, like a stupid B word, and like, you victim, like the PUSSY, like, you effing murder. Stop victimizing yourself. Are you scared? And he starts laughing at me. He's like, oh, you're scared? Like, you shouldn't be scared. I'll show you what you should be scared of, of. And I'm just, I never looked at him in the eyes because I knew better. So I honestly feel like I kind of went out of my mind when he did that, because it brought me back to my childhood, and it brought me back to like how my brother used to treat me and how he used to scream at me. So I feel like that was a day that it wasn't gonna work out. It wasn't, because I feel like that day he really mentally just broke me. And then he had a conversation. He had a knife. I don't know what the heck. He was in the kitchen with a knife, and I did not want to go out there. Like, I didn't. And he kept calling me over, and I was like, I'm going to die. Like, I already knew I'm going to freaking die today. So I go over there, and he apologizes to me. He's like, I'm sorry that I did that. You just make me so angry that I can't talk to you about anything because you always take it the wrong, gaslighting the heck out of me, and just, it's your fault that I did this to you. And I wasn't even trying to fight with him anymore. That I was like, you're right. I should have never made that joke. Like, you're right. And he's like, we need to, he was like, we need to be better. We need to, it was always, we need to be better. We need to, stop being so bad to each other. What the heck did I do? Like, you literally broke 2 doors. Like, okay. And like, yes, I broke the toilet thing, but like, sorry, my bad. And that was the day that I knew it wasn't gonna work out. But I was already, married, and I was like, I was scared to be a disappointment to my parents. So I'm just gonna stick it out, and let's see how much I can stick it out until it started getting to the point where I, suicidal thoughts every day. I would like look at my gun and just like I want to shoot my brains out. I'm miserable in this place, and it was unfortunate because we worked together. So at my job,
So
everybody.
so you work together.
That's how we met.
That's how you met.
Mhm.
So this was you were with him most of your days.
Mhm.
There was never a major break between you guys. You were like always with him.
Always, 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 and I I never had space to do anything. Even before him, I really enjoyed the gym. I feel like that's my passion. I love working out. But with him, since we had a home gym, I don't want to say I wasn't allowed to go to the gym, but he would give me crap every time that I would try to go, just, you know. And then sometimes he would tag along, but ruin my workout. Like, oh, like, can you hurry up? I'm hungry. Or like, can you hurry up? I'm just like,
Yeah.
nobody invited you.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't tell you to come with me. Like, what the heck, man? So it
Yeah.
was just like I just slowly stopped going. I slowly stopped doing anything like cooking, baking. I was trying to like get into baking because I always wanted to get into baking. I will bake something and he will make it, but he'll make it better. Or I will, do this type of dessert. He'll make it better and take it to work and like, oh, did everybody like it? It's like, okay, I picked up piano. I tried to do piano. He used to play piano when he was younger and he could teach me. I'm just like, well, dang, man, like, why is it always a competition with you? Like, I'm
Yeah,
just trying
right,
to,
right.
I'm just,
You got a question on the screen with what you have gone through already. Somebody's asking the question. I'm sorry I missed you guys while I was listening to her. Uh Jetha, did family members like the guy before y'all got married? Is the question.
yes, they thought the same thing that I thought. He's a good, put together young man, has a good, stable job. He had a house already, and I was already in the market of buying a house that year. So he was like, you don't need to, just move in with me. Everything lined up
Yeah.
perfectly. So my dad liked him, but my mom was like, there's something off. I don't know how to tell you, but there's something off. And I'm just like,
Your dad said that?
my mom said
Oh,
that.
excuse me, your mom said that?
Yeah, my dad liked him just because he could like provide for us and protect for me and my son.
Yeah, yeah, it's sometimes the abuser is really good at projecting his testosterone when it's a guy to make the males the protective males around a victim. They try to project in such a way they make the other male feel okay, he's okay.
My dad liked my
But see,
brother loved him too.
women sniff. Women sniff that stuff out. See, most mature women, they sniff that out because there there's a pattern that a man. That's a whole nother show. Well, we can talk about. No. I would love to do a show like that. I just can't get any guys to come on with me and do it. Maybe some of the
Yeah.
guys that are here, you guys DM me and we can do a guy show. We can talk about guys that are sneaky. That's the best way I can describe it. No, I really mean that. No,
Yeah.
one day, hopefully, I'll get a chance where I get a bunch of guys. We do a show and we let women know there are things that guys do that they can't fool a woman if the woman's looking
And that's
for it.
very true because
They're
my
sneaky.
sister
They're
said
very sneaky.
something like, this doesn't seem right. He's rushing everything. And I'm just,
That's the key. The pace. The pace is bad. There
mm-hmm.
is a beautiful woman that I had on my show on my other channel, NARC Abuse TV. She's very famous. She's a dating coach. Her name is Susan E. Winter, and she has a number of videos on YouTube. And she mentioned it on the show that we did as well. Pace is very important. A guy that wants to go or a woman that wants to go at a fast pace, that's because they want something. They're
Mm-hmm.
not willing. They're not givers. They're takers. But we gotta go back to the screen. HSNC Fitness. says, "You're so strong." This is for you, Liz, for even talking about this. I thoroughly agree. That dude has a special that dude has a special place, and it's not a good place in his
Yeah.
heart. The other one is we're back to Taz again. Taz says the way you're smiling while you're telling this story shows your strength and growth. So kudos out to you from Taz for saying that. And
Thanks.
I see one of my friends on here from a previous show, An Encounter with the Devil. She's awesome. So by the way, if you ever want to reach out to somebody, you can reach out to her. She's pretty good at being a source of encouragement too. I have to ask, when you were going through all of this, especially on that particular day, was there any family support? Anybody for you to call that would be able to come to your rescue while you were dealing with this, or hiding in the closet?
I didn't tell my parents or my family anything
Wow.
until it was one day, like he kicked me out of his truck and I had to walk home. And that was the day that I told my sister and my brother, like, I didn't tell my parents because just I knew they were gonna tell me, like, you need to leave. And I was so determined to make that marriage work just because it's my first marriage. And he's already been married. He already it's like his second divorce. So I'm like, okay, cool. I've never been married, so I want to make this work, you know?
Of
So I
course.
didn't tell my parents, but I told my sister and my brother, like, hey, I'm leaving him. He left me on the side of the road. He kicked me out. And I don't know how many freaking miles I had to walk to get home, but I had like chanclas on and I was so
Wow.
annoyed and I was crying the whole time because I didn't know that city that well. So I was like, I kind of knew my way back home, but I was like, okay, you don't care if I get kidnapped, like obviously. So I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. And my brother, and this is, we're trying to repair our sibling relationship because my brother was the one that told me to stick it out, go to counseling with him, that's what marriage is. Y'all fight and you just have to stick it out, and that I can't be the same independent woman as I was before I met him because I'm married now and I'm supposed to be there for my husband. And my sister texted me on the side because it was a group chat, and she texted me on the side and she was like, don't listen to him, he's freaking stupid, like you need to leave right now. That's not marriage, trust me, if you don't leave it's going to get worse. And it got worse. And it got worse to the point where he started involving my son, and that was my last straw because you can, leech, you can suck my energy and my soul, everything out, and leave me as a freaking carcass. It's fine, but you're not going to do that to my son. So whenever he started involving my son into it, he just turned 4.
Oh my. Oh wow.
So whenever he started involving him, and my son was telling me on the side, like, mommy, I'm scared of him, I don't want to go to your house.
Oh my goodness.
That's when I was like, okay, I need to make a plan to get out. So
Right.
I think it was like it was a Friday, and I only know this because I was at work, and my son's preschool ended up calling me at work saying like, hey, we need all the kids need to go home because something about a pipe burst or something.
Mm-hmm.
And my ex-husband, he was sick. He thought I poisoned him. I don't know why, but he was really sick. And I think it was alcohol poisoning, to be honest, because he's an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so scared to call him because any inconvenience in our life, it was my fault. Like, I should have known, I should have prepared for this. So when I called him, the very first thing I said was, hey, please don't hate me. And he was, what happened? And I was like, can you please go pick up Nolan? The school just called me. There's a pipe burst. All the kids need to, leave. What the hell do you think? Like, I'm sick. Do you not understand that I'm like effing sick? And it's like, okay, but I can't go get him. I'm at work. And I was at that time at work where I had coronavirus in January. So I missed 2 weeks of work. So they told me, like, try not to miss work anymore because it's going to look bad because you're still kind of new. And he knew that. So I was like, I can't just leave work. Like, you're at home. Can you just please get him? And I had to literally beg him to go get him. And it annoyed me because, I don't have family down here. I don't have friends down here. You're my support system. You're my everything right now. So can you please help me? Right. And he threw the biggest fit. first he told me no. He's like, no, I'm not going to go get him. It's like, so I was like, oh, okay. I was losing my hair at that time too. Like I was so stressed. Those
Oh,
six
wow.
freaking 7 months that we were together, I was, oh Lord. The people at work were asking me like, are you okay? You're not looking so good. And it's like, dude, I'm slowly dying inside, but it's whatever, whatever. So, he finally told me yes, he'll go get him. So I was like, okay, thank you so much. I love you. Give him the little praise that his little ego needs.
Right,
Thank
right.
you. So then, not even 10 minutes later, because the school wasn't that far, he calls me and he's in his truck. And I can hear him in the truck and my son in the back. And he is just chewing me out. What gives you the right to call me when I'm sick and ask me for a favor? Like you should know better than that. I'm sorry.
Nope.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No. I
He
want
called
you
me
to do
selfish.
I want you to do me a favor. This is very, very important for two reasons. One is this clock over here is telling me I'm gonna need to have a
Oh yeah.
commercial break. You have got to finish your story. We're gonna come right back, everybody. Please don't take it the wrong way, but I don't want to stop her midstream because we end up not being able to keep the feed going. So I'm gonna be right back, everybody, and I'm gonna get a box of tissue, and you gotta go get a box of tissue, and I'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere, and you'll see me come right back with the live, everybody, and we're gonna be back with Liz. And Liz, you're gonna tell me some more about what he was saying to you after he called you selfish, because that's the last thing you are, is a selfish person. You're a wonderful person. I'll be right back, everybody. Be right back, Liz. Okay. All right.
Okay.
In just a moment. I knew you would enjoy that one. Looking forward to you joining us again. Please, we ask you to follow and support our guests. You will find all the information you need in the description for this video. We truly appreciate your support.